What the actual hell was that with the Philadelphia Eagles, man? This is getting absolutely out of control. They have to make changes now if they want to save this season because I don't see things getting better doing the same old crap that we've been doing. We got lucky winning those games that we won. Now it's catching up to us. We're not changing anything. Kevin Patullo has to go. Nick Sirianni can never be allowed to hire his offensive coordinator ever again. The system has to be changed. Look, we've got a lot of problems with this team, believe it or not. I think we all kind of glazed over them a little bit because of the fact that they were winning because of the way last season went, and we've proven that the Eagles find a way to win. And now it's all starting to come out that maybe the roster Howie Roseman put together isn't exactly what we had thought it was or what we had hoped it would be. Maybe he made a mistake not giving Isaiah Rodgers his money, as we see with Jackson and Ringo. They just simply are not cornerbacks. Neither one of them can be CB2, as we'll see a play by Jackson here in a minute. But and then we've gotten nothing from our edge rushers at all. Let Josh Sweat go. And look, I get it after a Super Bowl win. You can't pay everybody what the open market's going to give them. But we have to be able to replace those players with something better than we've gotten so far. Jalen Carter has not been that effective this year. He's been solid, but and I know he's been also playing hurt. We also remember he wasn't here game one. And why was that? Because he did something stupid. So I want to go through a few things from this game and curious what y'all think about it. Now, one thing I want to point out without any hate, and I know this gives people opportunities and ammo, but overall, Jalen Hurts had a great game. I think he made two mistakes, and unfortunately, with the way the offense is going, with how predictable it is, which, by the way, there's the key word that I'm hearing from everyone all the time. The other team seems to know what we're going to run before we do. You simply, it's like knowing what pitch is coming from a pitcher at the major league level that's going to get you absolutely crucified on the mound. You're going to get knocked around. NFL defense knowing, or at least having a great idea of what play is coming next, even if it's just knowing it's a run or a pass, that's a huge advantage for them, and we seem to be giving them that advantage. So first, we had this. A lot of people want to blame this on completely on Jalen Hurts because you'll see if we look over the middle, we've got AJ Brown coming coming clean across with just his player. But as you can see, if you look at it here, right, the ball is already gone. So Jalen Hurts dropped back his first read. I believe it is Dotson in this case. His first read is Dotson, who, by the way, is open. This is solely, to be fair, and because he doesn't throw many, this is a pick. It's only Jalen's first pick of the entire season, but this is not, oh, he can't read defenses. AJ Brown is open. If AJ Brown was the first read on this, it's probably a touchdown, but that was not clearly not the way the play was called because if you look at Jalen Hurts as he's dropping back, he's looking at his first read. You'll see this right away. I mean, even there, you can see he's already looking. You can see where AJ Brown is. You can see where Dotson is, and he's already committed to this throw. He's setting now. You still got the safety there, so you don't know how open AJ Brown is. The safety, based on his positioning there, seems to be leading toward Dotson, but he can easily correct on that. And now the ball is already. He's committed to the throw. AJ Brown isn't open yet. If AJ Brown is the first read, then yeah, it's probably a touchdown. So the decision, I'm not going to blame Jalen Hurts for, oh, he can't read defenses. AJ Brown is open. The problem is he didn't lead Dotson. He threw the ball to the inside of the field, which is why it's an interception. And that is a huge problem. That part is on Jalen Hurts for sure. And then we had one other that I think was this was that's just a still. I think it is this play right here. And this is, again, this is incredibly rare for Jalen Hurts. I think he's one of the best deep throwers in the league. And this one I think is actually on him, right? I mean, that's a touchdown, folks, or it should be a touchdown. Devontae Smith is absolutely wide open. You don't get more wide open behind a defense in the NFL than there. And Jalen Hurts just flat out missed him. And those are basically the only two mistakes by Jalen Hurts I feel in this game, or at least the notable ones. And so that's a problem. But here's Emmanuel Acho. I'm not a huge fan of his, but this is a good take, and this is my point about predictability. As he says, here's Saquon Barkley's 12 carries broken down. say, he talks about the predictability of the run game. Maybe with the offensive line the Eagles had in terms of how it was performing last year, that didn't really matter. But it is clear that the other team, like I said, they very much at least know whether a play is going to be run pass, and that is a huge, huge, huge problem. One thing I just want to point out, just because it's a pet peeve and it happened in the Giants game, is how is this not a penalty? How is this not? I mean, he launches himself head first, crown of the helmet, boom, and right helmet to helmet. How is that not a 15-yard penalty? Now, I want to make clear, I'm a little more old school with my NFL football. I wouldn't want a flag on that if we were playing the way it used to be played. But under the circumstances and the things that called, especially when you look at what's called with the ridiculous taunting calls, and you look at the stuff that like Patrick Holmes, especially Josh Allen is another one, the stuff they get away with when they run to the sideline, everyone's afraid to touch them, and so they stay inbounds, or Patrick Mahomes delivers a hit on a defender because the defender stops playing because he's afraid to touch Patrick Mahomes and all of that. And you get guys trying to jump up and deflect a bat down a pass, and then their hand might lightly graze the quarterback's helmet to the side, and they call that a hit to the head in 15 yards. But then you don't throw a flag on this. Consistency, guys. This should not matter here that it's a quarterback. And in fact, if I think it's on this, just to give you an idea, we had maybe it's not on this. Maybe it was a different thread, but someone showed Barkley, the fine he got, the $46,000 fine he got before last week for what he did, which was absolutely absurd. Um, and then yeah, going back to this isn't even this isn't even coverage, but this is Adoree Jackson. He is unblocked on this play, folks. He is absolutely unblocked on this play. Look, he comes in. Pay attention to this. Watch this because this is absolutely wild. It's like the guy doesn't have any arms. I mean, what is he doing? Zach Bond, by the way, would have absolutely made that play on his own if Adoree Jackson wasn't there. But there's no attempt whatsoever. You're unblocked, and there's no attempt at attack. I mean, if you just go low and wrap up his legs, Bond's going to keep him from leaning forward and getting into the end zone. So, I mean, I think that's absolutely horrifically bad. Adoree Jackson has to go. And then I want to finish up. I want to play a clip from Seth Joyner because one, it's important, and two, this is shocking for Philadelphia. And Philadelphia fans are not going to stand for this kind of crap. We have got to make some changes and make them quickly.
I cannot believe what I just witnessed. And people have been saying for I don't know how long, oh, this team reminds us of the 2023 Eagles. You know what this team reminds me of? This team reminds me of the 2018 Doug Peterson team. The talent level on this team has been severely misjudged. Our rush guys can't get pressure. We don't get off blocks. We're undisciplined. Can I go through my lack of? Lack of effort, lack of want to, lack of preparedness. Some players on this team get paid $1 million plus per game. How are you unprepared to do the job that you're being paid for? You run the same damn plays every single week, thinking that defenses are so dumb that they're just going to let you have success. They know what you're running before you run it. I seen players give up tonight. I cannot believe.
Wow. Now, look, I don't agree with everything he said, but I really do appreciate and enjoy Seth Joyner's takes on things. I think he would actually make a fantastic coach, but I think he's too old school. I don't think he would survive with today's players, but he's got the knowledge and the passion for it. But the end part is just absolutely wild when we're talking about Philadelphia. We all know what Philadelphia fans want: grit, determination, effort, perseverance, no quit, all of that stuff. And Seth Joyner's just saying, hey, this team doesn't have any of that. This team looked like they quit. They're not showing that they're going to dig deep and win. And that is a huge, huge problem going forward. The A.J. Brown stuff doesn't look like it's going to go away. Now, what's absolutely wild that I do want to point out when we look at their last two losses, if we look at Jalen Hurts' numbers, first of all, his numbers have been, when you look at his passer rating, his numbers have been good all season long. Really, he's just not throwing the ball a lot, not throwing it deep. But last two games, 280 yards, 283 yards. You do that all season long. He's a 4,800-yard passer for the season. Even, yesterday, yeah, he overthrew Devontae Smith. Smith and Brown, I always want to confuse their names. They're both so basic. But we see all great quarterbacks overthrow players from time to time. It just seems to be magnified with Jalen. But he was 24 or 33, folks, almost 73%. and he did it averaging 8.6 yards per attempt, which would I believe it would have led the league last year. His career high is 8, which he's done twice. Last week it was 7.4, which is also solid. Okay, last 2 weeks he's thrown for 563 yards, completed 47 of 71 passes. I guess his yards per average per attempt is probably right around 8, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Jalen Hurts, no quarterback's ever going to play mistake free. Can we say that? But overall, Jalen Hurts has been quite good. The system needs to change. Kevin Patullo has got to go. I do not understand Nick Nick Sirianni with this. It just doesn't make any sense at all. I do not understand how you can take a generational offense like the Eagles have right now with that line, even playing not the way it used to, but playing well enough. You have Saquon Barkley, you have AJ Brown, you have Devontae Smith, you have Dallas Goedert, you have Jalen Hurts, and you are wasting the window of these guys in their prime by handing the keys over to someone who has never driven before. It makes no sense at all. In no universe does it make sense to give the keys to this offense to Kevin Patullo. None. Zero. Zip. It has to change now. Either someone else has to make the play call change. They got to figure something out that is different, because it is not about we're going to keep running the same old stuff and eventually it's going to click. No, you're going to end up just finding this team 7-10 at the end of the season and sitting out of the playoffs after going to the Super Bowl last year. And we're all going to go, yeah, Super Bowl hangover is real, man. Even the Eagles succumb to it. And there's no team in the NFL that people would celebrate more missing the playoffs than the defending champion Super Bowl Eagles. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you checking out this video. As always, do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, help us keep growing. I really do appreciate it. I will talk to you later.